Perhaps that's why he has the pump cover on. But imagine looking like Chris Bumstead and not taking off that sweater. Perhaps he's intimidated by Ramon. We know Ramon is his prime physique right now. He's at his leanest, pumped, looking amazing. And so perhaps Chris is feeling a little inferior. Coach Greg, and in today's video, C-Bum versus Ramon Dino. They're going head-to-head in a back workout and also being interviewed for future promos for the Mr. Olympia. And so, truth be told, is it actually C-Bum versus Dino? Or is everyone fighting for second place? Is there actually a feud? Is Ramon Dino, in fact, potentially competition for Chris Bumstead? Well, let's listen to Chris Bumstead and find out.
What do you think he got better, and where do you think he can improve as a competitor?
I think he looked better. He looked sharper and leaner. He looked like he was a little bit tighter and drier maybe at the show.
And so Chris responds, yes, he is in fact making improvements. He's getting leaner, and so perhaps next year, if he gets even leaner, maybe a little bit more muscle, could in fact be a threat to Chris Bumstead.
His posing at the Mr. Olympia. They said, hey, Chris was able to expose you in the posing. Did you feel like he improved on the posing at the Arnold?
And so what about Ramon's posing? Chris exposed him with the posing. Standing relaxed, Ramon, very impressive. You're thinking, wow, this guy may in fact challenge Chris Bumstead. But once they go through the compulsory poses, the posing routine, Chris very much stands out.
It's hard for me to say because I was so focused on myself at the Olympia, I didn't notice how he was posing or not.
And so translation, Chris doesn't want to say he can't pose. Chris knows he cannot pose. He's not even close to being a good poser. Ramon Dino, horrible poser. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Ramon Dino needs to practice posing harder than last time. In particular, I've stated, the front and back double bicep, he poses with his biceps lower than his delts. He needs to get the arms up. It throws his physique off. He has massive looking arms, better than Chris Bumstead's, but in comparison, he looks worse. How is that possible? Well, it's possible because he doesn't know how to pose. And so think of it. Do you really think that Chris never watched any of the posing videos from the Mr. Olympia? Of course he does. But he doesn't want to put him down. Chris is a nice guy. He's trying to be humble. He doesn't want to put Ramon down. But you know that Chris knows that he's a much better poser than Ramon Dino.
But I know his posing looked good at the Arnold, so I didn't see any flaws in it.
Never saw any flaws in Ramon's posing. Front double bicep. Really, Chris? You know that's not a proper way to hit a front double bicep. He absolutely can improve his posing. And his transitions from one pose to the next, nowhere near as a guy like Irvs or even Chris Bumstead.
Who do you think can be a threat as Mr. Olympia?
Urs and Ramon against each other at the Arnold. And I think it's going to be them battling for it again next Olympia, and I just got to beat myself next year.
It's Ramon and Irvs fighting for first at the Arnold's, only because I'm not there. But when I'm going back to Olympia, it's me against myself. All he needs to do is show up in close to the condition he was this year, and it's game over.
You can do the Chris Bumstead thing, you know? I have a strategy to be better, but the strategy is to be better than myself, not anyone else. So that's the goal.
So Chris, he's not comparing himself to other people. He's comparing himself to himself. And so long as he keeps improving, he's going to keep competing. But for how long can this happen? He's recently torn his bicep. He's struggled with various injuries throughout the years and has an autoimmune disease. And so how many more titles can he possibly win? I'm predicting this is going to be his last. I don't think he has it in him to keep going. That on top of the fact that he's more of an introvert, doesn't like other people, for example, staring at him, filming him in the gym, of which he's been vocal about. Think of it. He's done it all. He's a multi-millionaire, the most famous bodybuilder competing right now. And he also wants to start a family. And so why should he keep going? And so the only reason he's competing is to be the best version of himself. And if he continues to improve, well, sure, why not? I'll keep competing. But if he can't keep improving, if he's injured, what would be the point? What would be the point of him showing up looking worse than the year before? Only to win, to collect the check? He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the fame. And so, my opinion, he's going to compete one last time, and perhaps if he can't get any better, it's all good. He retires and settles off into the sunset. And so notice, Ramon Dino is fresh off his Arnold Classic win. He's in contest condition. In comparison, Chris Bumstead taken 6 weeks off. He injured his arm. He's hardly been training. Couple of fact, he probably went off cycle or at least went to HRT doses, but yet he's not intimidated. And so Chris, at his worst, is training with Ramon Dino at his best. But it doesn't matter. I don't care. Most people would be intimidated. Now, I'm not going to go and train with this guy. He's going to make me look bad. He's in peak physical condition. He just won the Arnold. I'm in my off season. I'm injured. Why would I subject myself to this? But for Chris, not a problem. He's so confident with his physique. Then why not? Bring it. I know it's your best and I'm at my worst right now. Doesn't matter. I'm good to go. And so, boys, Chris, come on. You're lowering the pin to go heavier. This is not what you do. You do not want to get injured ego lifting in the gym. I know it's always a competition, but in your off season with an injured bicep, this is not the time to show off. And so despite this, I do find it hilarious, the smirks, the grimaces, Ramon Dino's eyes light up, getting the big smile, Chris as well. Hey, I'm going to put this pin down. You going to keep up with me? Let's see how you handle this. And notice Chris not breaking form. Although he goes heavier, he's got picture perfect technique. But remember, Ramon is at his best aesthetically. He's not at his strongest. He's in fact very weak. When you diet to this extent, 4% body fat, you're not going to be that strong. I know you're thinking, yeah, but he's on PDs. So what? When you're 4% dehydrated, you're not very strong. And so even though Chris is not at his strongest, I do in fact believe that Chris could be stronger than Ramon at this point. And notice both Chris and Ramon using picture perfect technique. They're not swinging, bouncing around. They're not ego lifting. They're using great form, ensuring that they don't get injured. And so the only difference you notice when somebody's in contest condition versus someone not is the pump cover. Notice Chris leaving on the pump cover. And so perhaps Chris underestimated just how impressive Ramon Dino would actually look. Remember, Ramon is at his peak. He just won the Arnolds. He's tan, shredded, striations, vascularity. In comparison, Chris is in his off season. He's clearly lost muscle, increased body fat, but we all know Chris is a specimen. He looks amazing. And on the bent rows, notice the pronated or overhand grip. Chris with an injured bicep knows that if he were to grab the bar with a supinated grip, as in underhand grip, that puts more strain on the bicep. He wants to avoid this. He's trying to train safer than last time. And so these guys, they are smart. They know exactly what they're doing when they go and hit the weights in the gym. And just look at the size of Ramon Dino's arms as he does his lat pull downs. The biceps, triceps, they're huge in comparison. That's Chris's weakness. And so how is it possible that Ramon Dino can't beat Chris Bumstead in a front double bicep? Makes no sense. Ramon Dino, work on your posing. And again, training past failure, Chris is helping him on the way down, on the concentric. The eccentric, it's much easier. Slowly control the weight. Allow your spotter to force the way down. You're approximately 30% stronger on the eccentric than the concentric. And so really slow down the eccentric and force down those concentrics.
Right. You got 3 use those lats on the way up. You slow it down on the way up. Yeah.
Notice the trainer yelling, slow on the way up. Really take your time. That's exactly what you want to do. Slow on the way up, force it on the way down. That is the proper way to develop mind-muscle connection, time under tension, and really train the body harder than last time. And chest supported rows, another great exercise you can see. Slow on the way up, stretching at the top, and squeezing on the way back. If you get tired, your spotter can force the concentric, but always work that eccentric on your own. And so notice, Chris keeps on the pump cover the entire time. He's often been heard saying he's a skinny bitch. In the off season, feels like a skinny bitch. And so perhaps that's why he has the pump cover on. But imagine looking like Chris Bumstead and not taking off that sweater. Perhaps he's intimidated by Ramon. We know Ramon is his prime physique right now. He's at his leanest, pumped, looking amazing. And so perhaps Chris is feeling a little inferior. But it's the off season. It's okay. And so for Chris to agree just to train with him, he knows he's not at his best, but he agreed to do it anyway. And so they finish off their workout with more seated rows as well as straight arm pull downs for even more lat development. And this is followed up with some posing. Ramon stripped down, going through the poses while Chris watches in the back. But Chris doesn't need help with his posing. Chris already an excellent poser. He knows what he's doing. 4 straight Olympia titles.
Biceps, hit up front double biceps, Chris.
And Ramon Dino puts on the dinosaur head and says, do the front double bicep. Chris standing, shirt on, not going to pose down. He's not ready for this, but he is going to stand with Ramon Dino and help promote the sport by helping Ramon Dino get more popular than last time.
Honestly, a really good dude. Last night we spent like 20 minutes sitting beside each other on Google Translate, trying to talk to each other through like passing the phone back and forth.
And so very difficult as Chris and Ramon, they don't speak the same same language, but Ramon gave him a necklace saying this helps prevent injuries, perhaps a good luck charm. And so he's wishing him the best. And so this is great. It's a great rivalry. Of course, Chris is the favorite, but Ramon hot on his tails. Excited to see future competitions. It's only going to help grow the sport. Chris doing an amazing job as well as Ramon Dino. And so wishing these guys the best. And so there you have it. Let me know in the comment section. You think Ramon can beat Chris, and how many more competitions will Chris actually enter? I'm assuming everyone he enters he's going to win. Will he stop at 5? Will he keep making it to 10? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Please leave a like if you liked the video. Watch the tube loops, and of course, head over to my website. Pick up Harder Than Last Time supplements. We have so many, including Turk Builder, GO2 Backs, creatine, pre-workouts, protein powders. The list goes on and on. Code Greg saves you 10%. Head over to the store right now. And until next time, I am out.